Alright, I think loaded back up into Odyssey, or where we left off, entering Snow Kingdom. Let's start off with Snowdrop. Let me split that. Oh my gosh. Can I be 100% honest? I don't remember how to do Snowdram. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. Oh, shit. Video audio. God, I need to make these buttons more clear. So, what are we doing? So, tonight, as we come back into things, we're back again with Mario Odyssey. You know, keeping it simple, keeping it real. We're hopefully going to beat the game tonight. I don't know. I will make the stream last long enough for us to beat the game tonight. That's all I'll say about that. But we do have one big news story tonight. I have a few smaller ones, but we got the big one, the Switch 2, obviously. Shit. And then I've got some new, I've got some WIBE stuff where I want to talk about the final days of AGDQ. I've been playing a bunch of Kirby games, so I want to talk about those. And then I want to talk about the TikTok ban. Of course, there's a few other things in there. But, the TikTok ban goes into effect in 2 days. And things are looking pretty bleak. I mean, the Supreme Court case was handed out today, and that's not good. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to reminisce on TikTok. I say TikTok ban. We're more going to be reminiscing on the good times. That's a better way to think about it. So that's the plan for the stream today. I mean, we'll make it last the whole time. But, yeah. So, our big gaming news today is, of course, the Switch 2. That's the number one thing we have to talk about. Of course, the reveal finally happened after weeks and weeks of, speculation. Literal, it's closer to months. Because I made my TikTok prediction, I made my Switch 2 prediction video back in September was when I recorded that. Because I expected the console to be revealed in October. That didn't happen. And here we are in January, only finally getting the reveal. And we're going to have to wait until, what? April to finally get some more information. So, it's, oh shit, here we go again. Back in the worst place on Earth. Because, yeah, the speculation over for the console's reveal, but now we're just going to have months of speculation about what this thing's going to be. Luckily, games are a little harder to leak than the console. At least in theory, I'd like to hope it's a little harder to leak. I don't know, we'll see. I don't know, the thing about them revealing just a few seconds of Mario Kart means that there's still a lot we don't know, and there's still a lot that could leak. But, I think it was Jason Schreier who pointed out that, now that the thing is revealed, we're going to find out about some non-Nintendo games, and then we'll find out about all the Nintendo stuff in April. And we've actually already started finding out about some Switch 2 games. That one mouse detective game, that's like early Disney-inspired mouse game. It's like mouse... It's mouse something. I'm gonna actually look it up real quick. Mouse detective game. Mouse, PI for Hire is the name of the game. That was confirmed to be coming to Switch 2. So we've already, got some stuff coming to Switch 2. I do actually have 2 game reveals to talk about today that I do want to talk about. Completely unrelated to Switch 2. And actually, both of them I'm very excited for. They are 2 games I'm very interested in. One of which I've played. One is a sequel to one of my games of the year. To be fair, the other one was also on my game of the year list last year, for 2024. And the other one, right, the original was on my game of the year list for I think it was number 6 in 2023. We'll get to both of those. But, of course, you know, the elephant in the room is the Switch 2. So, of course, that's what we gotta talk about. Oh, I forgot to put foodstuffs on here. Whatever. So, after weeks and weeks of speculation, the Switch 2 was finally revealed in the early hours of the morning on January 16th. You know, there was a lot of people on the 15th. We were expecting Nintendo to, like, drop a tweet that was like, hey, stay tuned in, like, 24 hours for the Switch 2 reveal. That didn't happen. And, like, around, like, 7 o'clock the day before, they posted a Donkey Kong tweet, and immediately you just started seeing the crash out, right? That, oh, the Nate the Hate lied to us. Oh my god, I can't believe he would do that. And then, of course, the next morning, there he is vindicated, when at, like, 5 a.m., they dropped this trailer. Now, I did do a whole reaction to this trailer. I literally opened my eyes. I was woken up by my Nintendo alarmo. I picked up my phone, opened the lock screen, and saw the first notification was Wario64. And it was the tweet from Wario64 clarifying that the Direct was April 4th? April 2nd, not February 4th. Right? It was that tweet clarifying that. And when I saw that tweet, my first thought was, oh, February Direct, April release date. But that was it. That was all I saw. I literally got up. I actually went and got ready for work. I literally got ready for work, and then I filmed that video. And immediately after that video ended, I literally just downloaded a copy of it to my phone, and then uploaded it on YouTube once I got to work. And, of course, TikTok and other places. So yeah, I just immediately watched that. But that was basically how I found out about the Switch 2 reveal and everything. You know what? It was fine. It was bound to happen, especially with how early. I would rather have had them drop it super early in the morning when I actually had time to talk about it than for them to drop it way later at night or while I was at work, where I would just have to know, like, hey, the Switch 2 reveal trailer happened. And I can't watch it for the next, like, 5 hours. That would have fucking sucked. So I'm glad I got to see it first thing in the morning. So what was in the reveal trailer? Everything we knew. Basically, all the leaks for the past few months, everything we knew from those leaks, yep, they're all true. Basically, everything that we thought, right, that we had seen so far, that, you know, the next handheld pictures, a lot of the other speculation, yep, turns out that was all true. The colors, all that stuff. You know, we got to see the new Joy-Cons with their new, you know, they're slightly bigger. We got to see the new system, which is slightly bigger. There's a lot of specifics we don't know about, you know, we don't know any of the specs. We don't know any of the, yeah, we don't know any of, like, the specs. We don't know if the screen's LCD or OLED. Everyone says LCD, and it probably is. But I could see Nintendo doing two models. I mean, the Steam Deck has an OLED and an LCD model. You know, maybe Nintendo would do the same. I doubt it, but anything is possible at this point. Especially because people really like the OLED Switch. I think it's good. We see the new magnetic Joy-Cons. Instead of making a snap sound, they now made like a clap sound. It's like a clap or like a slap. And yeah, you know, I'm glad they're using a new sound and everything. We see the C button, but it doesn't. It's a blank face button on the controller, so it doesn't say C. We didn't find out what it stands for. We'll find out in April, obviously. The current rumor is that it's like, I know there are some people who think it's going to be like a cast button, that you'll be able to cast the Switch 2 screen onto the dock. I'll be honest, I don't really buy that. I don't want to say it's too convenient. That's just not... and that doesn't defeat the purpose of the Switch either. I don't see it. The rumor right now is Campus, that it's going to be like a social hub. And kind of like Miiverse, not dissimilar to that. And I could see that. I could see especially with Nintendo completely axing Twitter support and whatnot, I could see them just trying to create their new social hub. I think that makes perfectly logical sense. We did not see if the new Switch has the mouse feature for the new Joy-Cons. However, in the video, we see the Joy-Cons sliding around on a table like they race. And yeah, it kind of looks like that's a mouse. I think that, yeah, that probably is a mouse. That's them not saying it, but heavily hinting that, yeah, the Switch 2 is going to have a mouse feature. I totally think that's going to happen. It just kind of makes sense, I think it's a good idea for a feature. It has a lot of potential. That's, everyone wants the Switch 2 to have a gimmick. I think that's the gimmick. We see... The trailer is very, snappy. There's a TikTok, and I think he's also on YouTube and whatnot. Josh Harmon. Josh plays drums. It's something like that. And he plays the drums, but he does sound effects to, classic animations, classic videos, I think he did one for, I think his most famous is Ratatouille, but he did one for the Tears of the Kingdom trailer. I would love to see him do the sound effects for this trailer, because this is totally up his alley. I think Josh Harmon would do a great job recreating the sound effects in this trailer. They're very, ASMR-y. We see the new kickstand. It's exactly what we expected it to look like. People have also pointed out that the Switch now has little rubber stops at the bottom of it, so that way when you put it on the table, it theoretically doesn't go sliding around. It'll be more firm. But I like the Switch OLED's kickstand. I don't like the original Switch's kickstand, but I like the OLED's kickstand. And this is basically just a sleeker version of the OLED's kickstand, which is exactly what I'd want. So I think this is a good thing. We see the new dock. I've seen people talk about oh, the top on the new dock is exposed. You can see a little bit of the top of the screen on the new dock. Have you looked at a normal Switch recently? You can also see a little bit of the normal Switch's top when it's in its dock. I don't think this is as big of a change as people made it out to be. It might just be the footage, but it does not feel that much more exposed than a normal Switch does. I know there are all these ideas oh, maybe it's going to be a clock, maybe it's going to do this or that, show notifications. I mean, if you put your Switch in the dock, it'll show a little charging icon to just indicate that it's charging in the top left corner. I could see them they're obviously going to do something like that again. But I feel people people pointing out that there's a little bit of the screen showing on the new dock, they blew that way out of proportion. It looks just like the normal Switch. We got the colors. We had seen that the Switch in some of these leaked photos, they had the blue and orange Joy-Cons. And there was kind of the speculation oh, are these the new colors? Is this just a test thing? Because if I remember correctly, the original Joy-Cons also had colors that didn't make it into the final version. But nope, these new colors are making it into the final version. I honestly... So, I've seen a lot of people, I've seen people be oh yeah, no, the new colors are good, the new colors are bad, why didn't they use different colors? I think the reason they use the colors is to just tell apart left from right. That's it. That's the only reason they do it. So that way, at a quick glance, you're able to see, well, oh, the blue side goes in the blue side, and the orange side goes into the orange side. But what kind of really made me realize, oh, you know how I know this is going to work? So last year, my headphones gave out. And, along with everything else, my phone, my car, ugh. Last year was awful. But, when I bought a new pair of Samsung headphones, I noticed on the Samsung headphones, they have a little orange and a little blue strip to indicate which side is which, right? Left is blue, orange is right. And sure enough, when I look at the bottom of the headphones, which I'm looking at right now, I know there's no video of this, but trust me, I'm looking at them right now. They also have the colors. So Samsung already actually did this with their headphones. They are color-coded blue and orange. I'm pretty sure it's the same layout as the Switch, you know, blue on the left, orange on the right. I'd have to double-check that. Yep, sure enough, blue and orange. So literally, this is something Samsung has already done. And maybe that might be part of the reason why Nintendo chose these colors. I know Samsung has some sort of component in the new Switch. But yeah, of course there's all this speculation like, oh, maybe different versions of the Switch will have different colors. And you know what, that's possible. Because we only see the one version, the black version. There's been rumors there's going to be a white version. There's been rumors there's going to be a Mario Kart version. You know, we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, they're going to do new colors. But you know, if they stick to the orange and the blue, I wouldn't be too beat up over it, honestly. I've warmed up to it over the past 2 days. They confirmed that the Switch 2 is going to have backwards compatibility. That, you know, they say most Switch games will be backwards compatible. I've seen a lot of people speculating what most Switch games mean. A lot of, you know, the one that people bring up is Labo. Labo probably won't have support. Ring Fit Adventure won't have support. You know, games like that. My one thing I will say, though, we do not know yet if Switch 1 Joy-Cons are going to work on the Switch 2. Remember, just like back in October, Nintendo released a new charging cradle for the original Switch Joy-Cons. So that way you could just plug in Switch Joy-Cons in a USB-C cable. They don't need to be connected to the Switch, and they charge fine. What if the Switch 2, you can just use your original Joy-Cons on? Like, sure, new Joy-Cons won't work in, like, the Labo Ring, and obviously, like, if you use the Labo VR headset, the Switch 2 is too big to fit into the headset. But if Switch 1 Joy-Cons work on Switch 2, then yeah, you're still going to be able to play Labo. Also, 100% Switch is going to make Labo 2. Or, 100% Nintendo is going to make Ring Fit Adventure 2. 100%. Ring Fit Adventure is like the 11th or 12th best-selling Switch game of all time. It sold millions of units. I'm kind of surprised they never made Ring Fit Adventure 2 to begin with. So they are 100% making Ring Fit Adventure 2 on Switch. Are they going to do, you know, I know there's fitness boxing and whatnot. They're going to do something. There's not a chance they don't do something. But I would, I could totally see the original Ring Fit being compatible if Joy-Cons are compatible. We don't know. Nintendo's track record is actually pretty good. You know, GameCube controllers worked on the Wii. Wii U controller, or Wiimotes worked on the Wii U. And, of course, the Switch wasn't backwards compatible, except for GameCube controllers. So, you know, every Nintendo console can use GameCube controllers. And, of course, Nintendo sold NES, SNES, and N64 controllers as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I could totally see the Switch 2 being Joy-Con backwards compatible. That would definitely save me and a lot of other people a lot of money. That's for sure. We know about the Nintendo experience. They're basically from April 4th to sometime in June. Nintendo will be traveling the world with the Switch 2 and showing it off. I think in the Americas, they're showing it off in Los Angeles, New York, Dallas, and Toronto. And then, of course, they're going to be showing it off in Europe. I think they're going to Dubai at one point. And that all goes through June. That's what makes me think that the Switch 2 is going to be releasing in June. If you're going to have these tours through the months of April, May, and June, release it in June. I've seen some speculation about July. You know what? It's possible. But I think June makes sense. I know that usually conflicts with E3 and Summer Games Fest. But guess what? Nintendo doesn't participate in Summer Games Fest. And E3 is dead. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. This trailer did not have a release date, obviously. It also didn't have a price of the system. And there's a part of me that thinks that maybe they don't show the price. They weren't going to show the price regardless, but they're especially not going to show it because of Trump's tariffs. You know, we've got an incoming president in the next, like, 3 days who doesn't understand how tariffs work. So, while the Nintendo at the moment may want to make the system $400, which I think $400 is the right price point, I could see maybe $400 for an LCD one, $450 for an OLED one. I think those would be two really good SKUs, different price points. I think that's kind of your best point. But because of Trump's tariffs, it is totally possible that this thing goes up at least $100 in price. I've seen some speculation saying that it could be up to $600 because of Trump's tariffs. That sounds fucking miserable. But of course, these people did it to get lower grocery prices, and what is Trump going to do? Not lower grocery prices, and it fucks everybody else. Man, we are a failed hell state. Okay, let's get away from politics. So they did confirm a Switch 2 Expo will be happening in April 2nd. I'm surprised it's so far away. It is... I'm just gonna look it up. Days till April 2nd. That's 75 days away. Over 2 months. That's still a ways away. And that's going to be a long wait. And there is a part of me that, right, like I said earlier, I'm worried there's going to be more speculation, more leaks before then. Like, if this was in February, I'd be, spinning in the breeze. But April's a long time. But, we just have to trust Nintendo. We don't, but, we're going to at least pretend to. I'm going to pretend to. Anything else before we get to the, Mario Kart? I'll talk about, let's just talk about this now. So, with, this thing having a June release date, I could sit up here and give a lot of Switch 2 speculation. But there's a part of me that's kind of speculationed out. I mean, I have been talking about Switch 2 speculation since September 13th of last year. Yeah, how long have I been talking about that? Days since 13th, 2024. I have been talking Nintendo Switch 2 speculation for 126 days. That's wild that I have been doing that this long. So I'm kind of speculationed out for the Switch 2, but you know what I'm not speculationed out? Since we know this thing isn't coming before June, this whole Nintendo experience basically confirms it, because they're not going to shadow drop anything in April or anything like that. That, Nintendo right now on their schedule, they have Donkey Kong, which came out yesterday, they have Xenoblade, which comes out in the end of March, and then Pokemon and Metroid come out some point this year. And I've seen a lot of speculation. Is Metroid Prime going to be the launch title? Is it going to be Mario Kart? It's going to be Mario Kart. I am 99% certain it's going to be Mario Kart. I saw, Kinda Funny was talking about how, what if they release Mario Kart and Metroid Prime 4 on the same day? That's not going to happen. That is never going to happen. Not a chance in hell they release both. There is that 1% possibility that we get Metroid Prime 4 as the launch game. Because I was thinking about it. Before Breath of the Wild, Zelda, it did okay. But Zelda games had never sold amazing. Zelda was a critically acclaimed series that, was well regarded by many people. But it never sold amazing. But since Breath of the Wild, Zelda has done consistently well. You know what other series is kind of in that same boat? Metroid. Metroid is a critically acclaimed series that, while they've never sold well, they've always reviewed really well. At least some of them have. Again, Super Metroid and Prime. What if Nintendo uses the Switch 2 and its launch title as an opportunity to try to make Metroid into the next Zelda? They put all their weight, all their force behind a new Metroid game, and they just try to make it, as big as Zelda. They put a bunch of marketing behind it. They try to make it the next big thing. In theory, I think they could do it. Because again, Metroid has the critical acclaim. Admittedly, I don't think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be as series-defining as Breath of the Wild was. Breath of the Wild is one of the best games of all time. I would like to hope Metroid Prime 4 has the potential to be that, but let's be honest, it doesn't. Potentially, we can dream. A man can dream. But I think it's possible. And then, people are going to buy Mario Kart regardless. Whether it's a launch day game or it comes out, let's say the system releases in June. If Mario Kart comes out in July, people are still going to buy Mario Kart. That's what happened on the Switch. It launched with Zelda, which came out in March. And then in May, technically like 2 months later, almost on the dot, Mario Kart came out. And it sold 60 million units. So yeah, people are going to buy Mario Kart regardless. So I could see them trying to put something out on launch day. I don't think that 3D Zelda is a launch day thing. If the 3D Zelda was the launch day game, they would have showed it off here. But okay, long speculation aside, Nintendo has 3 games that we know about. And yes, it is totally possible that Pokemon Legends ZA comes out in May. The Pokemon Company is going to do a Pokemon Direct at the end of February. They do their big Direct, they show off the game, and then they announce, hey, then on like May 17th or whatever, that's the release date of Pokemon Legends ZA. It's totally possible. But I think it's also totally possible that sometime in February, we get a mini Direct. Not a big main Direct, like a 10-minute mini Direct that shows off entirely on Switch 1. Like, Nintendo announces it, and they're like, hey, mini Direct tomorrow, there will be no information on Switch 2 during this presentation. And during the presentation, they show off either that Kirby game that's been rumored, or they show off Wind Waker. And that one of those 2 games comes out in either April or May. Or potentially both of them. I think we're still at least one Switch game. Outside of, again, Xenoblade, which we know is happening, I think there's at least one game coming out on Switch in April or May that we don't know about yet. Because Nintendo tries to get a new game out every month. I'm actually kind of surprised they don't have anything coming out in February. Because they've got something for March, they had something for January, we just don't have anything for February. It's kind of weird. But no, I could see us, since we know the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible, whatever they put out, well, guess what? It's not going to harm Switch 2 sales, because people could just play that on Switch 2. God, I'm an idiot. Ugh. So yeah, I'm going to predict it. Either that Kirby game, Wind Waker, or Legend ZA. One of those 3 games is coming out between now and the Switch 2's release. I'm calling my shot right now. So, what else do I expect? See, I could go on, I don't want to rehash any of my Switch 2 predictions. That's the thing. I've given 100 Switch 2 predictions already in the past 126 days. I don't want to give anything new. I feel like we've been there, done that. I don't really have any new to say at the moment. So let's just let's call it there for Switch 2. In the future, you know, we'll talk about it again. But let's talk about Mario Kart. So the other thing shown in this trailer is the new Mario Kart. You know, the speculation, Mario Kart 9, is it Mario Kart 10, is it Mario Kart X? Honestly, we don't know. We don't know yet. We literally only get like 3 or 4 seconds of gameplay. That's next to nothing. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, at least we've got a better idea than, you know, fucking... like, that new, you know, I think of the new game from the team that did Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian, where it's like, wow, we don't even have, like, a good thing to call this. Like, at least we can call this Mario Kart 9. And for all intents and purposes right now, let's just keep calling it Mario Kart 9. So, outside of the, you know, the new trailer, you know, the first thing people notice is the game looks a little different. The game looks, it has, basically, I've seen some people complain that it doesn't look good enough. I don't expect this to look like Forza. This does not need to look as beautiful as a Forza game. This is Nintendo. They put stylization over everything else. And that clearly shows based on the fact that Mario and Donkey Kong, as well as the rest of the cast really, but we mainly see Mario and Donkey Kong, at least that's the one people have pointed out, they have new designs. Mario's design looks more like he does in Mario Wonder. They've clearly taken some influence from Mario Wonder. He looks a little bit more like, you know, the clay animation that Wonder kind of reminds me of. He also looks a little bit more, you know, chubby. He's a little shorter. I think that's, you know, a good change. I like the Mario Wonder designs. And if the Mario Wonder designs become the new designs for Mario in general, and, you know, I don't mind that at all. I think that's actually a good idea. The new Donkey Kong design, see, seems to have, like, the eyes are different. They seem to be more in line with the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And yeah, I like the Super Mario Bros. Movie design. I think it's a pretty decent design. Do I think that should be the new permanent Donkey Kong design? I mean, anything's possible. Again, I think of a character like King Dedede. King Dedede has been redesigned like every other year for the past decade. I'm not too picky about these things. You know, the Donkey Kong Country Returns uses his rare design. If this uses, you know, a more movie-style design, I'm fine with it either way. So I think either way, that's good. The new big thing that people noticed is that at the start of the track, there are slots for 24 racers. Mario Kart normally is 12. This basically doubles the player count. That's crazy. Oh, wait, where's my shocked? That is crazy. 24 players. Because 12 players in normal Mario Kart can get pretty chaotic already. You can get some crazy stuff from 12 players. So the idea of 24 players is just wild. You know, we'll see how it plays out. But 24. I basically take that as confirmed. Okay. I've seen a lot of speculation. So that's basically all the stuff we know, like 100% guaranteed for sure. Everything, of course, we have a bunch of characters. You know, all the classics are returning. You know, it's Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Bowser Jr., Donkey Kong, Koopa Troopa, Pauline, Rosalina, maybe Goomba? It kind of looks like Goomba might have been there, but that might have been something else. I'm trying to think of other characters that were in there. Wario and Waluigi, of course. And then it does look like all 5 of the babies are there. You know, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, Baby Daisy, and Baby Rosalina. I've seen a lot of people joke, are we going to get Baby Pauline? I think anything's possible. Oh, of course, Toad and Toadette. King Boo looks like he's there. There's this one bit in the trailer where people think it might be King Bomb's mustache, which I don't know. Can I be honest? I don't give a shit about King Bomb. I never really cared about him. I don't know why Nintendo keeps pushing him. But yeah, it kind of looks like King Baba might be there. Characters we don't see, the Koopalings. Yeah, the Koopalings, obviously. Which I know some people want them back. I don't. I don't think we need the Koopalings. I know 24 racers is a lot of characters to fill. And I think at some point in the future, we're going to make a tier list of characters I want in this new Mario Kart. We'll do that sometime in February. But yeah, we're going to do a character tier list. But, so that's the one thing. And another thing, I guess let's get to speculation here. So, I've seen a lot of talk about, like, people wondering, like, we see this one track where it's the highway, and it's this big open world, and it's this big open stretch of highway. I've seen people speculate, what if this game is going to be more open world? What if this game takes influence from, like, Diddy Kong Racing and Crash Team Racing, and it has a hub world that you can drive around in? I think that's a great idea. There's nothing really in this trailer that kind of confirms that, but I like the idea of it. That'd be nice. The other speculation I've seen is, what if this game's more open world and it takes influence from, like, Forza Horizons, where, you know, there's this big open world you can explore, and I think I actually really like that idea. Like, what if this new Mario Kart, you have these gigantic open worlds where you can explore, you can go anywheres, and then at any point in the game, you can just press a button, and it'll start creating a track. If you've ever played Mario Kart Home Circuit, where it can, like, where you basically, you're driving around the real car, and you can make it start, like, painting your tires, and make your own custom tracks. What if they just do that in the video game? Where you're driving around like an open world, and at any point you could start making your track, and just make a full track out of it. And of course there'd be like pre-placed tracks around the world. You know, we see Mario Bros. Circuit in this one, but you know, all the new tracks will be placed around, and there's basically, you can drive between the tracks. There's a lot of road between the pre-set up ones. They can also work in like the classic ones. Like we see Moo Moo Farms, we see Wario Shipyard, and they're just kind of woven in naturally with the overworld. Eventually you literally get shot off into space and do Rainbow Road. I don't know how they do it, but I think that would be really interesting. I feel like in recent months I've done a lot of like, what if X Nintendo game becomes open world? Right? Like every time we talk about this new Mario game, I talk about it being open world. Every time I talk about the next Pikmin game, I say, what if they make it open world? And admittedly, those two have some evidence supporting them. I feel like Nintendo has been taking steps with the most recent, you know, Bowser's Fury and Pikmin 4 to make open world Mario and Pikmin happen. But this Mario Kart thing's just speculation. I could also see it being like Burnout Paradise, where just like every stretch of land can be turned into a racetrack. At least I'm pretty sure that's how Burnout Paradise works. I don't know. I clearly need to play Forza Horizons and Burnout Paradise, because I would love to see Nintendo take some influence from those games. But that's entirely speculation. I don't know if that's going to happen. Our new track is Mario Kart Circuit. It's a desert track, but I'm going to call my conspiracy theory right now. I think you're going to go underground, because it's Mario Bros. Circuit. It's presumably a track, because, you know, most games have a Mario Circuit or a Luigi Circuit. I think every game has a Mario Circuit, and a lot of them have a Luigi Circuit, and they're usually just generic racetracks. But for this being Mario Bros. Circuit, it might be based on the Mario Bros. Arcade game. You know, the one that Super Mario Bros. Was the super version of. You know, the one where you're underground and you hit the turtles from beneath. One of the worst stages in Smash Bros. What if you you start off in the desert, you go down that highway. And like, I saw Shea Frillis' video today where he speculated that, what if you just turn around and come back? And yeah, you know, I could see, you know, you're driving against the cars or you're driving with the cars. I could see that totally being a thing. But what if you go underground And because I know, Mario games have played around with elements of the original Mario Bros. Before. So I could see them doing that again. There's specifically, is it Piranha Plant Pipeway, where it literally ends with you, like, being shot out of the pipes, going through a castle that's kind of inspired by the original games. So they've messed around with stuff like this before. But I'm just going to call that right now. Do I think the digging mechanic is a real thing? I think they're going to do something new. We just don't know what. There's speculation. We'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, I'm going to guess this track goes underground. That's my prediction right now. The new thing, speaking of which, so we see Yoshi Burger. I think Yoshi Burger is a cute little thing, seeing a Yoshi truck stop. But I like that the Yoshi Burger looks like Yoshi's face. That's really adorable. But in Yoshi Burger, in like the drive-through lane, we see this little yellow, it looks like an item box. And there's something floating inside of it. I've seen a lot of speculation that this is maybe a Wonder Seed. That what if this game takes more influence from Super Mario Wonder than other than visual? And what if, like, all tracks have, like, a wonder effect? And you know what? I could see that. I could see, like, you're racing a track, and then either halfway through the second lap or during the third lap, the wonder effect takes place, and it does, like, something crazy to the track. You know what? I could totally see that. I don't think that's a bad gimmick. But people have, enhanced the footage. They've zoomed in. And what looks like a yellow question block actually looks more like a food bag. It kind of looks like a Diddy bag, that you'd get like let's say you go to like Wendy's and you get like takeout. They give you it in like the brown paper bag. It kind of looks like a yellow transparent version of that. So the other speculation I've seen is there's an image of Mario's car, like race car, and you very prominently see the fuel tank. What if the main mechanic of this game is that you have to keep your car fueled? I know that just sounds like weapon degradation in like a Zelda game, and I don't know how they make fueling up your car fun, but it's Nintendo, anything's possible. But yeah, like there's a very prominent fuel tank. What if this little yellow question mark bag is just you getting more fuel for your car? I could totally see that. I don't know, there's so many questions right now, because also in this track, we don't see any item boxes. We see a boost pad, but we don't see any item boxes. Now that might just be intentionally Nintendo just not showing them, but there may be something else there. Because I 100% think items are in the game. There's no way Nintendo doesn't put items in the game. So the other speculation I've seen, with, again, no evidence whatsoever. So people notice that Peach in this trailer, Peach, Daisy, and Rosalina, but it's mainly Peach, that Peach is driving a bike in the trailer, but she's not wearing a biker's outfit. In most of the modern Mario Karts, when, the female characters have a bike, they wear a biker's outfit. It's in the Mario Bros. Movie. So it's really interesting to see Peach riding a bike and wearing her dress. So I feel like a lot of people have extrapolated from that. What if this game has costumes? Instead of, having the whole, like, oh, well, we're going to have, like, 48 characters, we're going to have this massive amount. What if they just do a Smash Bros. Thing and give every character, 4 to 8 costumes? So that way, in theory, you could have an entire party play as just one character. I'd assume they'd give each character 4. Smash Bros. Gives each character 8. So that way, if you're doing 8-player Smash, everybody can play as that character. And Mario Kart local multiplayer is usually 4. So I'd assume they do 4 costumes for each character. And, one is... So, like, Peach, right, has her normal Peach outfit, but she's also got her biker outfit. Maybe they make the metal, like, pink gold Peach, instead of being a character, what if it's just a costume? Same thing with, like, Metal Mario. What if it's just a costume? And maybe the costumes affect the stats. I'd be fine with that. I know Smash Bros. Costumes don't do anything, but if they want to make every character have, you know, medium, light, and heavyweight version of that character, I'd be okay with that. You know, Pink Gold Peach is the heavy version. Of course, you know, I would say the babies are the lightweight versions, but those are probably their own characters. I don't know, maybe they might streamline the whole thing. I don't know, there's a part of me that said we weren't going to get the babies at all, but we'll see, right? Like, look, what if Luigi's lightweight costume is Gooigi, and his heavy costume is, like, green electric Luigi, or whatever? Isn't there a green electric Luigi in something? I don't know. So I could totally see costumes being a thing. You know, maybe there's some, like, classic ones, like maybe one of the Mario ones is, like, the 8-bit costume. And this just allows us to put more characters in the game. I mean, to be fair, Mario Kart has already played around with costumes. Characters like Shy Guy, Yoshi, and Birdo, and technically even Metal Mario, have costumes already in the normal game. I think Link might also have a costume. I think you can switch between the Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild designs. So yes, Nintendo has already played around with costumes. I'm trying to get my... because this Switch controller is going to die. I'm getting the next one prepared. I think if Nintendo plays around with costumes, I think that's a good idea. I think that would be a lot of fun, you know. But we'll just have to wait and see on that one. The last thing, they're obviously not going to call the game Nintendo Kart. I mean, they could, but they're probably not going to. But I hope we get more Nintendo characters. Like, I fully expect every character who was in 8 to be in this new one. So, Link is going to come back. I hope Zelda comes with him. Right? It kind of sucks that we don't have Zelda. Also, give us Ganon. But definitely Zelda. I want Zelda in Mario Kart. Right? The Inklings are going to come back, and the Villagers are going to come back. And Isabelle. So I fully expect all those characters back. But I want them to do Nintendo Kart stuff. Give us Kirby. Give us Meta Knight. Give us Pikmin or Olimar. My dream for a Pikmin kart is instead of just having, you know, either like Olimar or a giant Pikmin, what if it's just a bunch of little Pikmin driving the car? And, like, you've got, like, a bunch of little Pikmin attached to the steering wheel. You've got little Pikmin, like, pressing the gas and on the seat, you know? Just, like, think of, like, a swarm of Pikmin on a car. Kind of like, there's that one Nintendo short that's, with Pikmin where they're, like, deconstructing a crane. Imagine that, but in a Mario Kart. I love that idea for a Pikmin character. Give us Marth, Roy, and Ike. Give us Pikachu and Jigglypuff. Basically, I would not mind if they just made Mario Kart into Smash Bros. That, you know, still call it Mario Kart, but make events out of, like, characters reveals. Because we're not getting a new Smash Bros. That's the one piece of speculation. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We are not getting a new Smash Bros. They're just gonna... you know, we can already play Smash Ultimate on the new Switch. We already know that. They're just gonna re-release Smash Ultimate again. Hopefully with better netcode. But yeah, I don't need... I would love to see them like, oh hey, you know, it's the new Nintendo Direct. I wonder what new Mario Kart character they're gonna reveal. And maybe it's like... and they do it in like franchises. So like, oh, we tune in to this Direct, and hey, Metroid characters. And we get Samus, and we get Ridley, who's fucking massive, squeezed into a little cart. That'd be very cute. I would love... I think that's a great idea. Or even have a Metroid drive a cart. Like, Metroids are cute enough that I think you could make them drive a cart. I love that idea. But we'll just have to wait and see. I think if you're trying to fill out a rock... because presumably they're going to have 48 characters. Right. I don't know how many characters are in Mario Kart 8... but presumably you'd want to take 24 and double it. There are 30 characters in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'm assuming that includes the expansion characters. So I would like to see them, again, do 48. You know, just take everything from Mario Kart 8. If they bring back the Koopalings, that's fine. I cannot get this job. But add in just a bunch of Nintendo franchises. You know, add in the Squid Sisters, add in Ness, add in Fox and Falco and Wolf. You know, I know we're just recycling the Smash Bros. Cast, but I have no problem with that. That's my big hope. That's my big hope. I don't know. There's so much to speculate on this game. I don't want them to just do Mario Kart 8 again. You know, I know there are people who are disappointed by the console review. That think that, oh, Nintendo didn't do anything new. Nintendo didn't do anything interesting. That the Nintendo Switch just plays it safe. That all video games are playing it safe. Right? The PS5 and the Xbox Series X aren't that different from the Xbox One and the PS4. And my response to that is that, you know, I think of Alexander the Great, right? And when Alexander saw the breadth of his domain, he wept, for there were no more worlds to conquer. That's kind of where we're at in video games. We have seen the possibility, all the possibilities of console gaming, and there aren't really any evolutions, because the next evolution is VR. And you know what? People are working on that. VR gets a little better every year, but it's just not there yet. And that's what breaks people's heart. And I get that. Like, people want the Nerve gear, they want their Gooby Vision Pro, where, you know, they can get Crunchino tokens to become a blinking light forever. I get that. But we're just not there yet. And normal gaming has just kind of hit its maximum. There's nothing that, you know, the PS6 is going to do outside of, you know, make the games look a little better. We're kind of, outside of VR, we're kind of out of innovation. Admittedly, I think the mouse thing is really cool, and I feel like that's got a lot of potential. But we're kind of, you know, there's not much more to innovate. Unless you're doing VR. At least that's my opinion. I don't know. You know, maybe someone will think of something. Again, Sony's making Smell-O-Vision or whatever the fuck. There was that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle controller that had Smell-O-Vision. What else was I gonna say? And obviously Nintendo's gonna do VR. You know, they had Nintendo Labo VR, and it worked. You know, it worked fine from what I heard. But Nintendo has been a fan of VR for 30 years. The Virtual Boy released in 1995. That was 30 years ago. Nintendo's always liked VR. And so I 100% expect the Switch 2 to have VR something. It's just, you know, we'll just have to kind of wait and see what that is. Do I have anything else on the Switch 2? Not really. Yeah, that April release date cannot come soon enough. Or that April reveal direct. I want that direct to be an hour long. I'm gonna be kind of disappointed if that thing... Like, I don't need them to explain every little detail about the console. I don't need everything. But I want them to just, like, yeah, first year of the Switch, they're gonna come in and they're gonna give us a lot. Because Nintendo, there's a rumor, speculation, I don't think this is official, right? This is behind closed door stuff. That Nintendo expects to sell 20 million Switch 2s in the year 2025. That's not physical year, I should add. That's not, you know, March 2025 to March 2026. No, that's, you know, potentially June to December. That's just a little over 6 months. Nintendo expects to sell 20 million Switch 2s. So if they're that confident, I hope they've got a lot cooking. You know, Mario, presumably an Animal Crossing, maybe a Splatoon 4. There's a lot of potential there. And I think I've seen some analysts be like, no, that's ridiculous. That's never going to happen. Honestly, sure. COVID was like, you know, hopefully a once in a century thing. That's the hope. And, like, Nintendo's not going to be able to recreate those numbers. But so far, everything I've seen from the Switch 2, you know, it's what I expect. And I know some people say, like, oh, getting what you expect from Nintendo's a bad thing. No, it's not. I would rather... People are treating this like it's the next Wii U. This is not what killed the Wii U. This isn't even fucking close to what killed the Wii U. Oh my god. Nintendo did everything wrong in the Wii U's case. Everything here, perfectly reasonable. You know, yes, is this more of like a PlayStation move than a Nintendo move? Yeah, but clearly the Switch is so successful because PlayStation's gonna rip them off. I mean, we know PlayStation's working on... I mean, they have that PlayStation handheld thing that I hear works fine. I think it's called, like, the Portal. But we know PlayStation's working on a new handheld. We also know Xbox is working on a handheld. That's how big the Switch was, right? Every company now, in the same way that, like, the NES revitalized the gaming industry, the Switch kind of forever changed the gaming industry. Be that, you know, like the Lenovo Legion Go, the Steam Deck, or whatever Microsoft's cooking up. The industry has been changed. And sure, Nintendo could do something different, they could risk it all, or they're fully aware that what they have is a good idea, and as long as they keep making good games, they don't really have to worry about things. Because that's Xbox's biggest problem, and that's PlayStation's problem as well. Is that, yeah, they've got a good high-end system, but they don't have any games coming out for it. Right, yeah, Nintendo's basically able to get out a game a month. Microsoft and PlayStation, in recent years, they've got out like 2. They get out like 2 a year, 2 or 3 a year. Yeah, no, that's their problem. You know, Microsoft buys up all these studios and still puts out like no games. And, you know, they're kind of funny, did an interview with, oh gosh, Shido something. It's not Utami, was it? Fuck. Shuhei Yoshida. Right, former head of PlayStation. And during that interview, he mentions that part of the reason Sony does a lot of these remakes is because new AAA video games cost a lot of money. So when they put out a remake, they're able to use the money from the remake to fund these very expensive games. Now, do I think these PlayStation games should be so expensive? No, not at all. Right? Nobody's asking you to put $1 billion into this PlayStation game. But that's what they're doing. And that's not what Nintendo does. And that's how they're able... You know, the proof is in the pudding, right? Astrobot, I'd like to think it had a smaller budget. Especially compared to, like, The Last of Us and, you know, Ghost of Yotei and whatever Neil Druckmann's new game is. Right, I'd like to assume Astrobot maybe had, like, half the budget, if not less. And proof that that game can both sell well and be critically acclaimed. I'm just saying. Okay, so that's enough Switch 2 stuff. We talked about it for an hour. It's exactly what I expected. Let's move on. Let's talk about Little Gator Game. So if you have never heard of Little Gator Game, this was a Zelda-like. It's a Breath of the Wild-like. It's a game that takes heavy influence from Breath of the Wild. I think it released in 2022? It released in 2022. I played it in 2023, early on in the year. And it was one of my favorite games of 2023. I think it ended up at number 6 in my top 10 games of 2023. And the only reason it was number 6 is because it was competing against Vampire Survivors, Spider-Man 2, Mario Wonder, Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4. 2023 was one of the best years in all of gaming. And so, like, a game like Little Gator Game, that easily could have been my game of the year in like 2019. I don't know if it would have been this in 2024, but definitely in like 2019, it would have been my game of the year. It's a fantastic game. If you have never played it, it's on Switch. I'm sure it goes on sale all the time. But it's a Zelda-like, and the basic premise is that you're a little gator, and you and your friends are on this island, and you're playing pretend. If you've ever played A Short Hike, it's a little similar to that, but more Zelda influence. And so you and your friends are playing pretend. You can't really, like, you want to play, like, adventure. One of your friends wants to play, like, spaceman. One of them wants to just do their summer homework. And you're basically going around helping your friends. Because your end goal is to impress your sister. Because your big sister is home from college. And it's really well done. It's really heartfelt. It was one of my favorite games of the year. And it would easily make my top 100 games of all time. Easily. Love that. Love Little Gator Game. It was announced on the 15th, the day before the Switch 2 reveal, that Little Gator Game is getting a sequel. It is called Little Gator Game in the Dark. So again, the first game takes influence from Tears of the Kingdom, and it wears it, and it's not like we're influenced by Tears of the Kingdom, but we're little. No, it like wears it on its sleeve. It's not subtle at all about it. So of course the new one is the Underground from Tears of the Kingdom. That makes me kind of hope that Little Gator Game 3 will be Little Gator Game in the Sky, or over the rainbow, or whatever. But so we're in the dark. You've got this entire underground area to explore. We've got plenty of new characters. There's a pig, there's a bat. All these fun little new characters in our Little Gator Game. There's going to be new power-ups. We see we see like a ribbon twirling power-up. What's the plot? What's the story going to be? I don't know. I have no idea. I do hope it's heartfelt and emotional like the first game. I don't know why I did that. The emotions of the first Little Gator Game, specifically the ending, are what make it so, that's the game's already really good, and then you get to the heartfelt ending, and it's like, oh, this is amazing. I hope they keep that, and I'm sure they will. I think, we don't know, right? We don't know Switch 2, we just know, hey, it's coming to normal Switch, presumably it's coming out this year, and this is one of my most anticipated games of the year. Yes, Mario Kart 9 is obviously super anticipated. I've got a few other things I'm excited for. Xenoblade. Okay, Xenoblade's out. Again, it doesn't help that I've played it before. Pokemon. But no, this is up there. This is, in just a single day, has risen up very far as one of my most anticipated games. I actually do want to replay Little Gator Game. At some point, I will do that. Maybe on stream? I don't know. We'll see. But it's one of my favorite games of the year I played it. Absolutely love it. I actually do kind of want to, really do want to replay it. I'll replay it closer to when the sequel comes out. But I hope it's coming out this year. I know we've been in Silksong limbo for 6 years now. We've been in Mina the Hollower limbo for 5. There's, a few other things. Earthblade, I think, is the other one, which is made by the people who did Celeste. Extremely OK Games is the developer now. And that's just the studio's new name. I hope this one's coming out sooner, right? Because Little Gator Game's not that long, right? Unlike, that's one of the differences between it and, Breath of the Wild, is that Breath of the Wild can potentially be, an 80-hour game. I'd be amazed if it takes more than 10 hours to 100% Little Gator Game. That's not the type of game it's trying to be. But no, I think Little Gator Game in the Dark is a fantastic idea. It's a game I'm super excited for. It's hopefully it comes out before the end of the year. That's all I hope. I've been so burned over these past few years from indie game sequels that take forever to release. I don't need another one of those. Please just come out this year. I would love a new Little Gator Game. Alright, let's continue on. The other quick announcement, again, new game, or game that already is out. So if you saw my Game of the Year list at number, was it 6 this year? All my number 6s are coming up. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, or it was number 5. So my number 5 Game of the Year for 2024 was Luck Be a Landlord. If you've never heard of it, Luck Be a Landlord is the game that inspired Balatro. If you know what Balatro is, imagine Balatro, but instead of poker hands, it's a slot machine. That's the easiest way to explain it, because Balatro is way more popular than it is, sadly. Now, it's a game I've primarily played on mobile. I think I got the mobile version for like $2 or $3, and it's a great little mobile game, but it's also on Steam. And they announced today that it is coming to console. So if you have never played Luck Be a Landlord, if you're a huge fan of Balatro and you want something kind of similar, if you want to play the game that inspired it, Luck Be a Landlord is coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Series S. I don't think Xbox One. It didn't say in the announcement. And it is also coming to Nintendo Switch. And when is it coming? In a little over 2 weeks, on February 6th. It on Steam and on phone, it's a really cheap game. I don't expect it to be over like $5. I highly recommend it. It's a simple, it's a slot machine game, but you've got all you're making combos, you're getting relics instead of jokers, but there's some of the same ideas. If you played Balatro and you play Luck Be a Landlord, you can see how you get from step A to step B. That's really easy. But I just wanted to make that recommendation. It was one of my favorite games I played last year. So the fact that it's coming to console is really great. I do highly recommend it. So just a quick shout out there. So as we get into WIBE here, we're here in Ruined Kingdom. And I'm going to be honest, the first time I fought this dragon, I thought this was the coolest thing in the world. The dragon here, seeing this, realistic, quote-unquote, realistic for Mario. Dragon, this dragon that's taken straight out of Skyrim. I know he's not voiced by Charles Martinet, but, you get the idea. I think this is such a good twist. I do wish there was a little bit more to Ruined Kingdom. I wish it was more than just a boss fight like Cloud Kingdom. But I think this is... I still love this. I think just coming out of nowheres. I did not expect this at all. I think this is a fantastic idea. This is all the proof I need to know that Kirby would work as a Dark Souls game. I think Nintendo could make a Dark Souls game. I know there's a lot of speculation that Elden Ring is coming to Switch. I totally agree with all that speculation. But I want to see Nintendo make a Souls-like game. I think they would do a fantastic job. And this is all the proof I need. They can match, your realistic quote-unquote dragon with your cartoony characters. It'd be great. It'd be great, and this is all the proof I need. So like I said, we're going to talk about AGDQ. I've been playing mostly just Kirby games, so we'll talk about that. I want to talk about Marvel All-Stars real quick. I want to talk about Harley Quinn, because there's been a few TV shows I'm interested in that are coming out right now, but the only one I actually got around to was Harley Quinn. We'll talk Severance next week. Maybe. I don't know. Did we talk about Severance on this show? I'm pretty sure I watched Severance in early 2021. That sounds right. I want to say we were... when I watched Severance, I want to say we were doing Animal Crossing. It was early 2021, maybe 2022. I don't remember. I want to say we were still doing Animal Crossing. So we might have talked Severance on stream. We might not have. I cannot remember. But Season 2 did premiere. I'm kind of worried for Severance Season 2 because Westworld... Severance and Westworld have nothing in common, but tonally, they feel very similar. And if you've seen Westworld, the second season didn't end well. The first season was fantastic. I loved the first season of Westworld. Second season wasn't it. And third, oh god, I didn't even watch the third season. So I'm kind of worried about Severance Season 2, but they had a good thing going on with the first season, so I'll stick it out. And then, of course, I want to, in memoriam TikTok. So let's start off with AGDQ. So we had talked about AGDQ a lot last week. We had the final days. They broke their broke their AGDQ all-time record. They raised over 2.5 million. Fantastic. Fantastic AGDQ. So last week we talked about the Mario run, where they played New Super Mario Bros. Wii with their head while also playing the piano. And it was a really cool, really neat run. They then followed that up on Saturday with Crazy Taxi with a live band. So you had a live music performance while playing Crazy Taxi. Holy shit, that was a wild stream. That was a fantastic moment. They did Elden Ring. I think they did an Elden Ring bingo lockout, which was great. And then they had Elden Ring on saxophone. Great as well. All the musical performances this year, there were 3 of them. At least that's the ones I can think of. Were all fantastic. AGDQ, right, that stuff was all great. They really knocked it out of the park. And near the end of the show, they talked about, hey, if you have any crazy ideas for AGDQ in the future, just submit them, right? We'd never even thought about these musical ones, but people submitted them, and we were like, that sounds amazing. So I think that was great this year. Those runs were good. They raised enough money. They raised over 2 million, which got Echoes of Wisdom. And the Echoes of Wisdom run, I'd never seen one of those before. Because, the game is pretty new. It was a really neat run, right? They do the first dungeon, and then they skip all the way to the end of the game. And it was like, oh my god, that was crazy. So yeah, I really like that. I'd never even thought about... So, when I played Echoes of Wisdom, there's a Link puzzle near the end. And the way I solved it was by just creating some boxes for Link to jump up on. And then when my mother played Echoes of Wisdom, she solved it by just picking up Link and dragging him to the end. In the speedrun, they go to the other side with Link and just pick him up and take him to the end. That was really neat. The way they fought the final boss in the speedrun, I didn't know that was possible. They basically pull its arms out. I've not watched admittedly I have not watched much of Echoes of Wisdom gameplay, especially the final boss. I'd never even thought about that. I fought the final boss of Echoes of Wisdom using the level 3 Dark Nut. That's how I did it, just using Link in the level 3 Dark Nut. The way they fight it, oh my god, that makes me like that boss fight more. Knowing that you can use Zelda's abilities to grab it and yank its arms out while Link severs the tendons. I think that makes it much more of an interesting boss fight. I can't believe I'd never thought about that before. So that was a great run. And then the final run of the night was Super Metroid. Kill the animals, save the animals. You know me, I always vote for kill the animals, save the frames. We got our ass kicked this year. Save the Animals won overwhelmingly. So they did go... So it was a randomizer race. It was 4 of them running. And it literally came down to 0.6 of a second. That's how close it was. The only runner I was rooting for... Because, okay, of the 4 runners, only one of them was a kill the animals guy. And he only said kill the animals because he wanted to be different. But I was rooting for Andy. Andy's the Zelda runner, and I'm more of a Zelda fan than I am a Metroid fan. So I was rooting for Andy. And I thought he had it. Especially when the guy in first... It's not Ethan, but it was something like that. he was ahead, and then he takes a wrong turn. And I'm like, oh, this is it. Oh my god, Andy's gonna win it. And then he gets stuck, and it gets neck and neck, and the other guy gets in at like, you know, like, let's say 125.46, Andy gets in at 125.51. It's like a 0.5, 0.6 second difference. It was so fucking close. It was a crazy run. The third guy was like a minute behind. Was it Evan one of them? And then the last guy came in like 2 or 3 minutes later. It was such a good, close run. What a great way to end off AGDQ. You know, I gave my final donation for Kill the Animal. It didn't happen. But, you gotta show your support for your team. That would be a great transition to the Marble League, but I'm going to talk about Kirby Games first. So when it comes to actually playing video games, I've just kind of been in a Kirby kick recently. Admittedly, I don't know why, I don't know where it came from, but I just kind of wanted to play some Kirby games. I know last week I was playing a bunch of Mario games, right? We've been playing Mario Odyssey. Off stream, I played Super Mario Land, and I've been playing through Super Mario Advance 2. I admittedly have not touched I got out of the Forest of Illusion, and then I haven't touched Super Mario Advance 2 since then. But I did sit down, and I said last week I was going to play Kirby's Dream Land. Sat down, played Kirby's Dream Land, beat it in like 30 minutes. If you've never played it before, it's a really short game. I then picked up Nightmare in Dreamland. If you don't know, Nightmares in Dreamland is the Game Boy Advance remake of Kirby's Adventure, the NES game. The NES Kirby game, I don't actually really recommend. It's a good game. I want to say it's one of the last NES games to release, and it's very laggy. Like, it pushed the system to its limits, and as a result, the game is very laggy. Admittedly, the 3DS version fixed that problem, but you can't buy the 3DS version anymore because they took the eShop offline. So instead, the next best thing is Nightmare in Dreamland. I had never actually played Nightmare in Dreamland before this, but I sat down, I played Nightmare in Dreamland, and yeah, I had a good time. I definitely struggled. I think it was World 7, there's, you have to do a mini-boss gauntlet, or a boss gauntlet. Yeah, let's call it a mini-boss gauntlet. Right, you have to fight, like, Poppy Bros Jr., you gotta fight the elephant, you've gotta fight, the hammer guy, whose name I'm inexplicably forgetting off the top of my head. I think you have to fight the block guy. You have to fight a bunch of mini-bosses. And I just could not beat that level. I originally went in with no power-up, and I was just like, I'm just gonna try to tank the level, see what I can do. I got that elephant. You have to fight the elephant, which gives you throw or upchuck or something. And then you have to fight the beetle right after that. Oh, hey, Anti-Anonymous, how you doing? You see the Switch 2 reveal? Got any thoughts? I am perfectly whelmed by the Switch 2 reveal. And honestly, we're doing okay in Mario Odyssey. Like, we're not doing great, but we're not doing terrible either. But yeah, it's morning for me. Wow. Yeah, it's night for me. It's like, it's almost midnight for me in a little bit. But yeah, no, so Nightmare in Dreamland gave me some struggle. Admittedly, I beat the final boss on my first try. Put like 3 servers there. Yeah, I know, right? Switch 2, super excited. I'm very excited for it. It's just, God, it sucks that we gotta wait until April. Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. But, good thing I got Kirby Games. So after beating Nightmare in Dreamland, which I struggled through... Oh, Okay, maybe I'm not doing good in Mario Odyssey. There we go. This is why I plugged in the controller earlier. It's only because 1 megabytes added to the previous 64. Yeah, that's funny. I bought a 500, I think it's 512 gigabyte SD card on Black Friday this year, just for the Switch 2. I know you can get terabyte SD cards. It was on sale for it was like 20 bucks for 500 gigs. And I'm like, that's probably good enough. It's not like I'm going to download Call of Duty, which is going to be over 100 gigs. I'm not going to do that. So I think 500 should be fine. I don't know. My Switch, the one I'm currently playing on, it only has 128 gig SD card in it. And to be fair, I have filled that up. I filled that up last year, like late into last year. So yeah. So, after beating Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland, I then played Dreamland 2, which is a Game Boy game. I have not played Kirby's Dreamland 2 in like a decade. It has been a long time since I played Kirby's Dreamland 2. I liked it. So, Kirby's Dreamland 2, right, it's technically the sequel to Kirby's Dreamland, but it plays a lot more like Kirby's Adventure. Kirby's Dreamland 2 is to Super Mario Land 2 what Kirby's Dream Land is to the original Mario Land. If that makes any sense. Like, the first Kirby's Dream Land is, like, really short, really easy to beat, whereas the second Kirby's Dream Land is a lot more interesting, a lot more inventive. You've got all the little animal buddies, you know, Rick, Coo, and Kine. I saved Gooey at one point. I did not fight Dark Matter. I know if you collect all of the, like, carrot rods or whatever, you can fight Dark Matter. I did not fight Dark Matter. I'll get, I don't know if I'll get around to it. Honestly, I was kind of ready to move on. So you may think, oh, you did Dreamland, you did Adventure, you did Dreamland 2. You gonna do Dreamland 3 next? I skipped over Dreamland 3. I'm gonna go back and do Dreamland 3 eventually. Maybe. But no, I moved on to Kirby 64. I have not played Kirby 64 in also over a decade. It has been a long time since I've played Kirby 64. But, you know, it's on Nintendo Switch Online, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll play Kirby 64. It's been okay, you know, it's a Kirby game. I love combining the powers. You know, when I got Firework again, I was just like, oh yeah, Firework, oh man, this one's so much fun. But somehow I keep going back to Cutter and Stone, which is the one where it gives you, like, the Animal Buddy statues. And man, I do not like that one. But I've gotten it on accident like 3 times. Because admittedly, I'm not keeping a list of the power-ups. I'm just picking up stuff up as I go. But yeah, no, Firework, which I think is Bomb and Fire, is my favorite one. I really do like that one. And then, I think I'm in, like, World 4. I think I'm, like, halfway through the game. Am I gonna get all the crystal shards and fight Zero 2? Probably not. At least at this moment. I've missed a fair few. I'll be honest, I think there are 64 crystal shards. Of the 64 crystal shards, if I had to guess, I've missed, like, half of them. I'm not doing so good so far. There are some that I just can't, like, you probably need, like, a special power-up to get, and I just completely forgot. Like, oh, yeah, you know, you need to go grab, I don't know, whatever the power is. And I just completely forgot about it. But other than that, you know, I've been enjoying... Kirby 64 is fine. It's a good game. There are elements of it that haven't aged exactly well. But, you know, I think it's okay. And, you know, I've just been wanting to play some classic Kirby games. And Kirby 64 is definitely one of them. Dreamland 3 is definitely one of them. And then I'll probably finish off with Amazing Mirror. I should maybe replay Squeak Squad, but I don't want to... Squeak Squad is over in my cabinet over there, and I'd have to, like, go and dig it out. And I really don't want to dig it out. I hope we get DS emulation on Switch too. I still like my idea of being able to dock the Switch 1 into the Switch 2 to make a DS. I think that's a great idea. But, you know, we'll see. Yes, this is just in chat for the new year, got a rebrand. Other than that, it's the exact same show. At least for the moment. You know, I'm thinking I've got some ideas, but for the moment, you know, just a rebrand. I've been using the same name since 2018. I needed a change of pace. Yippee! So we're coming up on mech here. I think I'm gonna try mech skip, but I'll be honest, I've never done mech skip before. So like, I mean, to be fair, you know, we got T-Rex skip, we got the other one. What other skip did we get? We didn't get Snowdram, but you know, I'm gonna try mech skip. I've never practiced it before, so I make literally 0 promises, but I'm at least gonna try. That doesn't bode well, by the way. I heard you're playing something else instead of Splatoon. You know, that was something I wanted to do last year. Was I wanted to throw in new games. You know, just maybe not even all the time, but you know, at least every once in a while, try to do something new. And like, we started off so strong last year. You know, we did Turnip Boy, we did Mario Wonder, and then after that, it all just kind of fell apart. I know we did at least one other thing before the year ended, but this year I'm going to try to be a little better with it. We're still going to play a lot of Splatoon, and obviously when Mario Kart 9 comes out, we're definitely going to play a lot of that. But, yeah, I at least want to get some, you know, TikTok may be banned, and, you know, we may not get our Reddit videos to Minecraft parkour and Subway Surfers. But you can always find me here, playing a video game and chatting about random bullshit. That will not change. You know, I'm glad. So we'll talk about it here in a minute. But the only Reddit post channels I will actually miss are Scaling Stories, who's on YouTube, and Entertainment Sauce, who I'm pretty sure is also on YouTube. Those are the only, of like the hundreds of Reddit accounts, those are the only 2 I actually care about. Okay, admittedly, Entertainment Sauce is a Twitter/Tumblr account, but you know, same idea. Yeah, so that was all I played this week, was Kirby. I put a lot of time into Kirby. It's like the only game I wanted to play. I kind of also want to replay Epic Yarn, but I don't want to bust out a Wii or the Wii U. And I don't want to buy the 3DS version, because I didn't buy Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. And I kind of don't want to, but I kind of want to. I might watch a Let's Play of it. You know, maybe I'll watch, like, who Let's Played Epic Yarn? I know Chugga Conroy did. Maybe... Did Game Grumps do it? Fuck, I haven't seen a Game Grumps video in years. Maybe I'll watch Game Grumps play Epic Yarn. That could be fun. Because, yeah, I want to play it. I just don't want to actually, like, play it. You know, does that make sense? That sounds dumb. To be fair, that's how a lot of people play games. To be fair, that's a lot of my time in Mario. I've watched more Mario Party Jamboree than I played Mario Party Jamboree last year. Like, I watched Smitty's new hour-and-a-half long video about Mario Party. Oh my gosh. That was really fun. Not the entire thing, but like by the halfway point, where they're just all where Puffer and Grizzy are ready to rage quit, or maybe it was Pezzy and Grizzy. I don't know. It was two. I know Grizzy for sure, and one other We're like totally ready to rage quit. It was so fucking funny. So, real quick, I do want to talk about the Marble League real quick. So, I know we just did the Marble League, you know, we wrapped it up like 2 weeks ago. But guess what? Marble All-Stars starts next week. Or it starts tomorrow, actually. I think the first event of Marble All-Stars is the bobsled. So what is Marble All-Stars? From my understanding, it is the Marble League, but like it's the best of the best teams. It's the top 16 teams going in and, you know, playing the best of the best. So what are those 16 teams? I have it written down somewheres. So the first 8 teams are all the winners. So the Savage Speeders, who won in 2016 and 2020, the O'Rangers, who won in 2017, the Midnight Wisps, who won in 2018, the Raspberry Racers, who won in 2019, Mellow Yellow, who won in 2021, Pinkies, who run in 2022, Crazy Cat's Eyes, who ran in 23, and then Team Momo, who won in 24. Obviously, those are all the teams we expected, right? Like, the Midnight Wisps haven't done anything good since they won in 2018, but I fully expected them to be here, right? And I know the Mellow Yellow and the O'Rangers had an awful year this year. They didn't even make it into the event. I fully expected them to be here. Even if Team Momo hadn't won the Marble League, I would have expected them to be here. So those are the main teams. But, of course, you know, you also have the fan favorites. So you have the Green Ducks, who came second place in 2019. Obviously, they were here. The Oceanics, who came third place in 2018. The Hazers, who came third place in 2019. Minty Maniacs, who came 20th, who came third in 2020. My team, Team Galactic, who came third in 2022. So all those teams make sense. Those are all teams I expected to be here. But these final 3 teams make no sense. You have the Balls of Chaos, whose highest achievement that they could find is 5th place in 2018. Team Primary, whose best achievement they could find is 8th place in 2022. And then finally, the Limers, whose best achievement they could find is 10th place in 2017. Okay, do I remember this skip? No, I do not. I'm pretty sure I was supposed to break one of the side ones now that I think about it. Yeah, okay, maybe we're not going to do mech skip. Maybe I don't remember how to do mech skip. Maybe I've never actually attempted this before and I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Maybe let's not do mech skip. Maybe I'll look up something and we'll try it again in the refight. Like I'm streaming the refight. No. Once we beat the game tonight, I'm done. I'm done with Odyssey. Maybe in my own personal time I'll go back and do darker side and dark side. I don't know, I'll think about it. But yeah, no, I'm good. This is my first time doing this boss fight in, gosh, 6-7 years. It's been a while. So yeah, those are the Marble teams here in the Marble All-Stars. Where are the Snowballs? Like, the Snowballs just came in, like, 2nd or 3rd this year. Like, I totally get why the Blackjacks aren't here. Like, all the new teams, you know, the Blackjacks, the Wolf Pack, the Solar Flares, obviously they were never going to be here. You know. But, like, where are the Snowballs? Where are the Bumblebees? I know historically the Bumblebees have not always been great, but ever since the Bumblebees merged with the Hornets, they've been doing pretty well. Why aren't the Bumblebees here? I mean, they didn't do amazing in the 2024 League, but they did better than us, Team Galactic. So, like, I don't know why the Bumblebees aren't here. Shit. I thought I'd give it a try, and I immediately flipped it. Yeah, so I think, honestly, Balls of Chaos and Team Primary, whatever. I know there's some sort of cult status there, potential, especially for the Team Primary, even if, again, they make really weird choices, like, constantly. I kind of get it. Why the fuck are the Limers here? That's just such a weird team. Like, because, again, they were going to get none of the new ones. The newest team in here is the Green Ducks, who started in 2019. But they've done, sure, they didn't qualify that 1 year. They didn't qualify in, what, 22? Yeah, they didn't qualify in 2022. But other than that, the Green Ducks have done pretty good. They came in 4th this year. Totally makes sense that the Green Ducks were here. Of course, you know, Oceanics, you know, they haven't done good in a while, but, you know, they have history. Hazers also had a pretty off year this year, except for, like, the 3rd and 4th from the last event. But I know Hazers have a cult following, obviously. Menti Maniacs. Am I a little sick of them because of all the Mint Mobile sponsors? Yeah. Do I think that, you know, are the Limers here because fucking Chomsky's got a new lime-flavored chip and they're the ones sponsoring the league this time, the All-Stars? Maybe. That would explain it. But yeah. And obviously Team Galactic, you know, 4th best team in the league. I totally expect us to be here. Maybe 5th. I want to say we're 4th, though. But yeah, the Limers are just so weird. They feel so out of place amongst all these other ones. I totally think you could have thrown in the Snowballs. Or I would have thrown in the Bumblebees, personally. I think the Bumblebees would have been great. But yeah, that's the Mobile All-Stars. It starts next week. Of course we'll be checking it out. Okay, we'll be checking it out if my team is doing well. If they're doing shit, I don't know, we'll see. But if my team's doing well, we'll check out the Marble League next year. So, I just want to talk about that real quick. Let's talk about Harley Quinn. So, the Harley Quinn animated show, it's the premiere of the 5th season. If you have never seen the Harley Quinn animated show before, it is one of the best adult animated shows we've had in a while. It's good, it's funny, it's got a great lesbian romance that I'm, like, the first episode is all about how, like, they're in a rut. You know, the honeymoon phase is over, they've been together for a few years now. All they kind of want to do is, you know, stay home in their sweatpants, not wear bras, and watch TV. Like, I get that. Yes, that one. Yeah, it's a great show, trust me. And yes, they do have sex in this, the premiere. You don't see everything, obviously, like, you don't, like, it cuts to it afterwards, but yes, you do, you do see some things. It's a fantastic show. And, for the season premiere, like, you know, there's, in these shows, especially with, like, lesbian romance like this, I always kind of worry that the show's gonna come in and decide that, like, oh, we're gonna, for this season, the big drama is gonna be like, oh, they're in a fight. Maybe they're gonna break up and they're gonna rebound with somebody else. That has never been an issue with the show. They are a stable romance. They love each other. Yeah, do they fight occasionally? Yes. But it's all very healthy. It's all really well done. And yeah, I really enjoyed this first new episode. They move out of Gotham, they're in Metropolis now, so that's kind of setting, you know, a new tone. We get some new, of course we get the return of some old characters. I'm kind of sad we're not getting Gotham City Sirens. That would have been kind of fun, but they very quickly dash past it that's not going to happen. Instead, they establish Lena Luthor, right, Lex's sister, who's obviously going to be up to something. They establish Brainiac. You see some, in this first episode, like, you find out the city has, like, this new robot security system. And I look at them and I'm like, 3 dots. Oh, it's Brainiac. And yeah, sure enough. And I think because there's a running joke throughout the episode that all Gothamites smell like piss. And it's, like, there's clearly going to be some conflict there where, like, Brainiac's trying to create the perfect city, right? He wants Metropolis to be clean and pristine. But, you know, Harley and Ivy are ruining it by, you know, spreading nature and, you know, by being dirty Gothamites. And I'm like, that's good conflict potential right there. And then there's one other big thing. Oh, what was it? Oh, Superman's gone. Yeah, Harley, you know how in like 2 seasons ago, they established Harley as Bruce Wayne's therapist. In this season, they establish, right, she does some therapy for Superman and convinces him to take a vacation. And it's like, okay, that's obviously going to cause some problems. But I actually really like the scene of Harley talking to Superman and him being like, oh, you know, he needs a sabbatical. I think it works really well. I like when we see the therapist side of Harley. Again, the season 3 finale is great about that. So we have to try Moonskip here. I have never done Moonskip before. I know I say this for every trick. I have never tried Moonskip before. I think I know we're supposed to bounce off the Sphinx's head. I think we jump off this wall, and I think we're supposed to latch onto that one. Did they patch out Moonskip in the most recent version? Because we're playing on the most recent release of the game. I admittedly do not know if they've patched out Moonskip. I know they've patched out the darker side skip. They might have patched out Moonskip. I also don't remember entirely. Again, I've never done this before. I can only think of watching this in speedruns. You know, let's just... I'm not even worrying about it. Again, we're like 50-50 for tricks. Some of them we've gotten, some of them we haven't. Let's not even worry about it. Have you ever tried Darker Side Impossible Jump? No, I have... This game has been out for over 7 years. This is only the second time I am ever playing it. I have not played this game since it released in 2017. So I've never tried. No, I've never tried any of the skips. That was my first ever time attempting Moon Cave skip. I can't. What was? I know when we streamed this 2 weeks ago. We got Dino Skip. What was the other one we got? We didn't get New Donk City Skip. We got... Did we get a Pyramid Skip? I swear we got one, because I know I tried Snowdram at the start of the stream, and that didn't work out. We couldn't get... What other skip did I get? I don't remember it. I'd have to look back and rewatch last week's or 2 weeks ago stream. The only one I can think of is Dino Skip. And I don't know. I'm fine doing Moon Cave again. At least it's not, you know, Darker Side. Because I remember the second half of Darker Side is a nightmare. I don't know. It's also I've only ever done Darker Side once. Again, 7 years ago. So I'm rusty. I don't know. Maybe we'll try that next week, or maybe we won't. I don't know. My kind of thought at the moment is next week we're gonna do Donkey Kong. You know, Donkey Kong HD came out, and I think we're gonna play that. At least that's my plan at the moment. Oh shit. There goes our life apart. Anything else about Harley Quinn? I don't know. I thought it was a fine season premiere. admittedly, Season 4 was okay. I didn't love Season 4, but I didn't hate it either. I thought it was perfectly fine. I admittedly did not watch that Kite Man show. I watched, like, the first 2 episodes. I meant to get around to the rest of it, and I just kind of didn't. I maybe will. And like I said, I'll get around to Severance next week as well. Hopefully. I don't know. I could see that being one of those things we wait until all the episodes have aired, but we'll see. But I at least could sit down and watch Harley Quinn. So I guess that takes us to our final subject of the night. So the Supreme Court last Friday heard arguments for banning TikTok. And they came out today and they made the decision that they are going to uphold the ban of TikTok. Down here in Texas, we will have snow on Tuesday. Possibly a 4-day weekend. Oh, good for you. That actually sounds great. 4-day weekend sounds like a lot of fun. Man, I miss those. Enjoy them while you can, while you're still young. But yeah, so the Supreme Court is upholding the TikTok ban. I know Joe Biden has said that he's not going to enforce the law, that, they're going to do other stuff. Aren't you in college? No, I graduated college like 3 years ago. I graduated college in, what, 21 or 22? I don't know, I've clearly got all my dates confused right now. I want to say 21. I graduated spring of 2021. It's been a long time. Maybe 20. Whatever, it doesn't specify. I haven't been in college for a while. Admittedly, I am going to at some point go back and get a master's degree, but that's not right now. Oh yeah, did my bio? Does it still say that? God, I've not updated that in a long time. I mean, the desert, yeah. The desert part's still technically true, down here in El Paso, it's still pretty deserty, but yeah. No, the college thing hasn't been true for a while. I'm still broke, though. That has not changed. Especially after last year, when the car broke, the phone broke, the headphones broke. Maybe I'll update that bio. If I remember to, I'll do that after this. That's funny. But either way, TikTok's getting banned. It had, Joe Biden says he's not enforcing the ban, so it'll all be up to the incoming president. But TikTok, from what we're hearing from, people who work at Bike Dance, TikTok is going to be going dark on Sunday. So, oh wow. So if you use TikTok and there are any videos you like that you want to save, you're kind of running out of time to save them. I'll tell you that right now. You've got basically 24 hours. You've got 24 hours to save any TikTok videos. For these past few days, I've mostly been posting on TikTok as if, this isn't the end. But I did post one video that was down with the ship, down with the crew, and today I made one final TikTok video that I'll be uploading tomorrow. It's a Pokemon video, because I just felt the inspiration. So if that's my final TikTok video, it'll be a sweet way to end it. But I'm gonna miss TikTok. We've only got we're gonna beat the game here in like 10 minutes. So real quick, I just kind of want to go through some memories of TikTok. I got TikTok. There's this guy named Dylan Hollis who bakes recipes from like the 1950s. Basically, his cookbook was called Baking Yesteryear. Right? He bakes old recipes. And I remember seeing those videos on like Twitter and being like, oh, that sounds really good. That sounds really interesting. So I wanted to watch those. And the other person who got me interested in TikTok was Panda Red. I think it's Panda Red. He makes DC videos, right? He's a huge fan of the character Red Hood. And I saw his video when Tim Drake came out as bisexual. And I was like, oh, that video is really funny. So I literally downloaded TikTok to watch those two people. That was in 2020. And since then, yeah, I've been using TikTok all the time. Admittedly, there is a part of me that's like, I know I say Twitter is my vice. TikTok is also kind of my vice. I use it more than I like to admit. You know, I've had some up and downs with TikToks. You know, I talked earlier, Scaling Stories is like the one good Reddit post channel. Most of the other ones, you know, they break everything into multiple parts. They make 1-minute videos. Scaling Stories is the one exception. But there were periods in TikTok where all I was getting was those Reddit posts. So, like, that's almost all the accounts I have banned on TikTok are those stupid Reddit post ones. Because I just kind of, outside of Scaling Stories, Entertainment Sauce, and, like, one other, I'm just kind of like, I don't like these channels. I'm sick of these channels. But I've found so many fantastic creators on TikTok. I could not possibly name them all. But I'm going to try to name a few right now off the top of my head. Let me just go through them. Let me just go through what I can remember. So I talked about Panda Red. There's also Sir Superhero and Nikhil Clayton. They also do, admittedly, those two do more Marvel content. They do some and Nikhil Clayton does both. Sir Superhero is mostly Marvel. Nikhil does both. And those are two other comic TikTokers whose content I really like, who I will hopefully be following beyond TikTok. Today, I think, definitely Sir Superhero and Panda Red and Comic Drake, we're doing the DC tabletop game, the Batman tabletop game. I was going to watch that stream, and then I just kind of forgot about it, and then it was like, oh, it's been going for 2 hours. I guess I'll watch it on the archive later. There was the Dadvocate, Lauren, who just, you know, made some really insightful content. Grant's Game Rex, board game channel, has recommended me some great board games over the years. I picked up their own board game. I'm kind of a big dill. It's okay. You know, it's a perfectly fun game. But yeah, they're kind of my first, when I want like a board game recommendation, they're my first stop. Cody Webb, comedian, head a member of the Asexual Council. Really funny stuff over the years. Osmith is the world's #1 Spheal enjoyer. Pokemon streamer, TikTok creator. Really good. Some really fun stuff over the years as well. The last video that I'm posting on TikTok, again, assuming, you know, the app gets banned and everything, is inspired by them. CA Cartoons RL, aka just Toons. They're you know, they do like animations and comics and whatnot. And they have a series called Game 6, which is Mario, Sonic, Frisk, either Cuphead or Bendy, maybe both. And Baby from FNAF. And it's just kind of like these like weird little wacky adventures. I think it's cute. I think it's a lot of fun. There is Deox's Art. I think that's how you pronounce them. They did a video that's set to Poor Man's Poison with the Righteous Hand of God that I was just like blown away with at the time. Perfect encapsulation of that song. TikTok actually got... I have never watched a Ludwig or Cutie Cinderella stream, but I watch their TikToks. Or at least, you know, like The Yard, Fear End. Right? I don't watch any of their Twitch streams, but I'll watch them on TikTok. Bubble did a Minecraft series called Miner and Builder. That was really fun. They're called Jesse, aka Trickster Spirit. They did a reimagining of Link and Zelda that it was fan art, but I was a really big fan of it. So I do want to give them a shout out. Commander Carl did like the reloading like a vacuum, reloading, you know, the TV remote. A lot of fun. I have Misha Cakes on here. I want to say I followed Misha Cakes on Twitter before. They do a series called Eldritch Darling. They're currently running a campaign to make a plush. So if you're at all interested, I highly recommend the series. But you can go check that out. There's Yuko EX. They're a transgender VTuber who've done a lot of trans content over the years that I do like. They've got a very specific style. I have Amelie on here, the VTuber, you know, Monarch. They're okay. They're one of the few VTubers I actually kind of like. You know, it's funny that I have like the whole PNG tuber thing. I don't actually watch that many VTubers. Amelie is kind of one of the few exceptions. Let's see here. J Stubes. You know, I used to, a lot of those film guys, you know, J Stubes. I don't follow Straw Hat Goofy anymore, but you know, I used to. People like that. Smokey B, kind of, Smokey B, like, the only comparison I can think of is, like, some of the early Odd Ones Out stuff. They're kind of a recommendation. Metaphorically Rose, an animator. They've done some great little animations. You can find them on YouTube as well. I follow Sam Reich. I've got a Halsey Bella, Athena Grimes, Dylan Poole, Jackie O. I'm sure who else is in here. These are all cosplayers. I'm not really big into the cosplay scene, but all of these guys, they do some really good cosplays. They're real funny, entertaining. They did a baking cookies, but one of them was deaf. One of them was blind, and one of them couldn't talk, and it was really funny. Rain Emery and Jackie O. Yeah, those are the two others. Some just good cosplay stuff over the years. That Clarified did, covered the writer strike when that was going on, what, a year or two ago? Some of the best writer strike content I've seen. Cutie Pie Sensei, another cosplayer, does some great stuff. Co-op 64, great podcast that I recommend. Yeah, this song is great. Scaling Stories, of course, Entertainment Sauce. Lucky Lefty, they started off with Hunger Games stuff, that was really entertaining, but since then they've branched out and done a bunch of other stuff. Highly recommend. I have... Let's see. Terminally Silly does some music stuff. You know, they did the Hey Doctor Doctor song, and then Koi is an animator who animated it. Two good channels. Any other ones? Oh, the Escapist, or the Escape Pod. You know, Hat Guy and the other guy. I agree with them maybe like 50% of the time, but I still watch them and I'm like, yeah, they're entertaining enough. It still pisses me off that Mario does not get married to Peach here. Almost 8 years later, Mario should have gotten married to Peach here. They thought about it. Hey, it's the scene that spawned Bowsette. We know from the art book that they were going to do that and they chickened out and they shouldn't have. Continuing off reading TikTokers, Sid did reactions to the MCU, and it was just a super entertaining series. Oh, the Pokemon Conservationist did some good animations over the years. And there we go, we beat Mario Odyssey. Oh, look at that. Anyone else? Jakery Don't did, does Roller Coaster Tycoon, but it's like the Boomer amusement park, the Divorced Dad theme park. Oh, the guy who does the Divorced Dad trading cards. Those are really good. Luigi never lets Daisy get captured, except for that one time. But to be fair, they met after that. They met after Daisy got captured for the first time. Who is? There's a channel called That's a Spicy Meatball, who did no, I hate that ship. I do not. I ship Wario and Waluigi. I do not ship Waluigi and Rosalina. I hate that ship. I would rather ship Luigi and Rosalina before I ship Waluigi with anyone other than Wario. No. No. Bad. So That's a Spicy Meatball. They did, a series making fun of British people reacting to American food. Really good. Really funny. No, it is not canon. No. Oh, and I say Wario and Waluigi are together. Waluigi was claimed by the Asexual Council. They own him. He is their official mascot, so that's also a problem. Another Snack with Zach. So every week I get on here and talk about food stuff, Snack with Zach and Snackolator are the two TikTok channels where they're the first people who tell me oh, Taco Bell released a new burrito this week that I did try and I forgot to talk about. We'll talk about it next week. Right, they're the first people I would get that information from on TikTok. Yeah, Mario and Peach and Luigi and Daisy are canon, more or less. Admittedly, there's a lot less evidence for Peach, but yeah. Or for Luigi and Daisy, I mean. A lot less evidence. Let's see, anyone else? I'm just one last scroll through my TikTok. Run DMG did a series about trying to build a nuke in Dungeons and Dragons. That was really funny. Any other one? Oh, Kylie Rogue. Kind of like tunes that I mentioned earlier. They use a bunch of popular sounds, and they have a bunch of different OCs of themselves that they animate. Super entertaining stuff. Do recommend it. And yeah, for everyone I just mentioned, there's probably 2 people I forgot. There's 1,000 other TikTok videos that were all great that I've seen over the years. TikTok was a great platform. It did some great stuff. And it's gonna suck to see it get banned. I hope something pulls out somewheres, but at least we had a good jam to send us off. That OCT TikTok song, fantastic. And I think with that takes us to the end of our show. We beat Mario Odyssey. That was what we set out to do. We beat it. I would say maybe we're going to come back and do more, but nah, we're going to move on to Donkey Kong next week. And hey, we got Mushroom Kingdom. I might play a little bit off stream, but yeah, I think we're just going to move on to the next thing. Because I am excited to play Donkey Kong. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to end off. God, it sucks that TikTok got banned. But hey, we got Switch 2 news, but it came at the price of TikTok getting banned. Oh, God. We live in hell. We live in fucking hell. So, yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end off for the night. So, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.